Alright, Pretender here, back with another Honkai Starro video. And today I wanted to be talking about paths in Starro, and with the potential chance of now having even more playable paths coming in the near future. So as you guys do know, Aglaya, I don't know how to say her name properly yet, was just drip marketed not too long ago, and we did see she's a lightning character that doesn't follow the path of erudition or destruction or whatever we thought originally. She follows a new path that will be newly playable, being Remembrance. Remembrance was already a thing in the game, as there's already stuff like simulated universe such, obviously some info regarding the lore, memo keepers and all that kind of stuff as well, but it was not actually playable. And so today I want to be talking about other paths and how this could actually be huge for the game. Yep, that's all I want to say. Before I get into the video, make sure to drop a like. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss a video like this. I upload all kinds of videos, so make sure you are subbed with the bell icon on so you do not miss some videos that are like this or others. And yep, let's get straight into it. So as we do know, since the beginning of Starro, we've had 7 total playable paths, and we've not actually seen any additions to the playable ones. We've had Preservation, Erudition, Abundance, Hunt, Harmony, Nihility, and Destruction. And as I mentioned in Simulated Universe and other mentions, there have been actual other paths that were not playable, such as Remembrance, Elation, and so on. Usually with every path, they usually have their unique thing to them. Obviously some break those rules, so they aren't really rules, but for the most part, if they are a certain path, you kind of expect them to be a certain thing. For example, if the Preservation, you could expect them to be a sustain more on the shield side or something like a mitigate like Fushuan. If they're an erudition character, you usually expect them to be someone that deals damage off ultimate and also is a massive AoE character. If they're Harmony, you can practically always expect them to be buffers. If they're Hunt, being single target, and so on. And so that was kind of how we've been playing the game since it did come out with these characters. If we saw Hunt, we were expecting single target, Destruction, a AoE based thing. And then as I did mention, we had other paths in the game that obviously didn't have the opportunity to be playable yet, and now we are getting the release of Aglaya, who is going to be introducing the first new playable path, being Remembrance. The reason the addition of Remembrance itself is already a massive thing is because that's probably going to introduce a new playstyle to the game. Spoiler alert, because we already do know some stuff about how Aglaya will work, at least with the info going around and speculation. Remembrance is probably going to be related to a summon meta. And so for the main 3.0 above summon meta, most of the characters that follow the path of Remembrance are going to be able to fall under the playstyle of summons. We do already have some summon characters, but this was obviously before Remembrance it was even a thing. Like we had Jingwan, who's erudition, even though he should have been Hunt, but he is obviously not going to be Remembrance. Topaz technically has a summon as well, but she's Hunt. Linksha, has a summon, but obviously falls under that. Those are different kind of cases though. They're not completely dedicated to being a summon DPS and such. But now with the actual focus, most of the summon characters are probably going to shift over to that Remembrance path. Meaning now that we have this new path, and once we do get more Remembrance characters, they are probably also going to fall under the summon category of character playstyle, so we get more playstyles tied to a specific path. And that is fantastic because we're opening new actual metas that we could have. New path makes it to where we have more to look forward to, so we don't have to expect, oh, Hunt, new single target, let's go. Oh, new Preservation, new shielder, let's go. Nihility, new dock character, let's go. We can now expect Remembrance to bring more variety to the game with the summon meta, making it massive. But now actually talking more about the other kind of paths and why the general idea of bringing Remembrance to the game, being a new path playable, is a very, very good thing for the game. As I've already mentioned 3-4 times now, we have other paths in the game, not just Remembrance, and the main ones we do know is Elation and Propagation. Since those are the ones we actually see in Simulated Universe and are the ones that are not playable, that would also include Remembrance, but Remembrance is about to become playable soon, and now we know it is. This means with these new additions to Path, we are going to have even more potential playstyles that are going to tie towards it. And now we also do know that it's not going to be what we know in Simulated Universe. And now we do know the path that we do get is not going to tie to what it is in Simulated Universe, since if that was the case, Remembrance would be based off purely freezing, since the Simulated Universe buffs always were around freezing when it came to Remembrance. But now, as we do not actually have that, and from what we know about Aglaya and other Remembrance stuff, from the info going around, it does seem like it's going to be a focused summon meta rather than actually being focused around freezes. So Elation being mainly focused on follow-ups such in Simulated Universe could be completely different, and Elation, once inevitably when it does become a playable path, could be potentially something new. And literally every single playable path that we do know about already has their thing, so we can kind of expect it for that. There's going to be some cases where it shifts a bit, like Acheron was not a dock character and became a hyper carry, but required Nihility somewhat. But for the most part, we can expect that. But now with the unplayable ones, we can expect a lot more playstyles coming to the game, because once again, we already have Elation and Propagation lined up eventually, but we have a lot of other things. To name a few, at least what is on the Starro wiki, we have Trailblaze, Enigmata, Equilibrium, and Order, and we also have something that I'm personally super excited about, Veracity. All these actually do open a new potential meta we could have in the game, or just a new potential playstyle. It doesn't even have to be meta, it could be an off-meta thing, or it could be something specifically tailored towards a certain support of a certain playstyle that already exists, or some unique ways that could actually be functioning. So with the addition of Remembrance being added with Aglia, and stuff from coming from 3.0 and beyond, there are easily high hopes for these paths to become playable in the future. Obviously, we are finally getting a new path over a year into the game, so we probably can't really expect one to come for a while, but this still is absolutely massive, since once again, Aglia is going to have a new playstyle for a new meta that we didn't already have. Well, we had the playstyle, I guess, but this time it's going to be mainly focused on that. On top of that, there could be new mechanics with the Remembrance path, so characters like Aglia and the future ones we'll get could potentially have something unique that someone that was already a summoned character like Jingwan didn't have. And if that's the case, that will open even more unique things that these potential paths that are currently unplayable might actually have. For example, Elation, if it's not follow-up related, could be something like, honestly, I can't even think of a playstyle. There could be a thing where it's like a lifesteal playstyle, not even using Elation specifically as an example, but one of them could be something where it's a pure lifesteal playstyle where you deal damage and a certain amount will heal you back. We already have some stuff, but that's regarding pure healing. I'm talking about like actually scaling off that. You do certain damage, you can heal it back. It's really hard to think of examples of unique things, so pretty much just imagine any unique thing that could potentially be a thing in Starro, and that could be the potential new gimmick of that new path. So once again, with Remembrance being added, that is meaning that we're potentially, not even potentially, I'm gonna say definitely gonna get future playable paths with Elation, Propagation, Veracity, Trailblaze, all that kind of stuff. Maybe not all of them because something might happen in the story and such, but for the most part we can expect more playable ones, and it is not going to be tied to the Simulated Universe one. So if we do get an unplayable path that is a thing that we can select in a future Simulated Universe, say such in the future we get a future Simulated Universe mode, that lets us actually have a buff thing for Veracity. It could be something, but once we do get Veracity playable, if it does become playable, it can end up being something completely different from what it was in the Simulated Universe counterpart. I've already said the examples, but again, Remembrance in Simulated Universe was supposed to be a pure freeze thing, but that has changed to now being more of a summon meta from what it seems. Elation right now is a follow-up based buff, but it could be completely different from when that does become playable, and then Propagation is completely based off basic attacks, and also the Spore debuff, which again mainly benefits off basic attacks anyways. That can also be completely different from when it does come out. And on top of that, the small thing I want to talk about, which is going to be massive, is for our main character, so the Trailblazer. The more addition to paths that we do get from unplayable to playable will mean more potential main character forms we will have. As we had the Destruction one already as the base one, we went into Preservation, and then the recent one we got with the Penacony being Harmony, and what could potentially seem to be soon being Remembrance. Obviously we still have to cycle through Abundance, Hunt, all that kind of stuff, but with the addition of these unplayable paths, that could potentially mean once these do get added, we get more forms for the main character, making the main character even more versatile. So big W buffs for the Trailblazer, at least in the nearby future or far coming future, or both, you know. Anyway, that's been the video. That's why I wanted to talk about the potential addition of Remembrance being such a big thing, which not even potentially being a big thing, it is a very big thing. We're getting more variety, which is going to tie to a certain thing. That's going to apply to future unplayable paths that will become playable eventually. More metas, more playstyles, more unique character things, more gimmicks that can come out of these. A lot of things, spicing up the game, adding more versatility, a lot of cool things for lore people as well. Gives them more ways to buff the Trailblazer as well. A lot of good things are coming out of this, and seeing Remembrance become playable opens up a lot of these possibilities. So let me know how you guys feel about Remembrance becoming playable. Personally, I'm super hyped. Definitely was really waiting for a future path to finally become playable. From how long it took, I honestly gave up hope a pretty big while ago. I was like, I don't know if we're even going to see a new playable path, and I'm just going to stick to the same 7. And it was just going to cycle through them and potentially add new gimmicks onto the existing ones. But no, thankfully, with the drip marketing of Aglia, that has changed it, and we saw the Remembrance. You can go look at the official post. Everyone was losing their mind, including me. The moment I saw it, I actually just was like, what? They're actually doing it? So I'm extremely happy that they're finally adding Remembrance. Even though Remembrance was the one I cared about least, at least out of the ones in the Simulated Universe options, it's still good that they're adding it, which opens future possibilities. But yeah, once again, let me know if you guys are hyped for it. Let me know what kind of paths you guys are looking forward to. Peace out.